Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the UPSC Cse Prelims 2018 Economy questions. Starting with the questions now. First question we have is which of the following best describes the terms merchant discount rate? What is merchant discount rate? The merchant discount rate has been come into place when merchants started to use a machine that is point of sale machine. What happens in this machine is merchants allows the customers to pay the amount by using this POS by using their own credit card or debit card. This is facilitated by a coordination between the merchants and the banks. That is why in the beginning it was charged on the merchants. Merchants were charged for using these POS machines. Bank used to charge them, and that is known as merchant discount rate. But later on, government have also removed this charge for increasing the use of debit card and credit cards in the economy. So looking at the options now, the incentive given by a bank to a merchant for accepting payments through debit cards pertaining to that bank. Let us say there is an SBI bank debit card which is used by the customer. So if this debit card is used by the customer, will the SBI bank will giving some discount or some incentive to the merchant? No, in that case, in the beginning, they were not providing any incentive for using these debit cards by the customer. This is not the right option. Second option is the amount paid back by banks to their customers when they use debit cards for financial transactions for purchasing goods or services. The amount that is paid back by the banks to their customers. It is not the right option because at that time, nor the government nor the banks were working in that direction to give the incentives to the merchant or customer for using debit cards. Next option is the charge to a merchant by a bank for accepting payments from his customers through the bank's debit cards. So as they are using the debit cards of the banks in their POS machine, the merchants were using the debit card of the bank. That is why banks were charging merchants for using them. This is the right option. Next option is the incentive given by the government to the merchants for promoting digital payments by their customers through point of sale machines and debit cards. It is not the incentive given by the government. Later on, now government is working in that direction to provide some incentives to the merchants. As of now, this merchant discount rate has been removed. That is why only to give the intense incentives to the merchants so that they can use the POS machine more effectively. But this is the most correct option at the time when this question was asked, that it was charged by the bank to the merchants. Next question is consider the following statement. FRBM Review Committee report has recommended debt to GDP ratio of 60% for the general government by 2023 and comprising 40% of the central government and 20% of the state government. FRBM committee was set up mainly to review the economy of India, wherein they are going to check the deficit where which India have, like the revenue deficit or the fiscal deficit which we are facing. So by analyzing, they have come upon with the idea that the debt to GDP ratio, the debt which India have, and the GDP ratio should be 60% combined for state and central by 2023, and also that 40% share should be of central government and 20% should be of state government. This was done. This is correct. Next is central government has domestic liabilities of 20% of GDP as compared to that of GDP of state governments. Central government has more domestic liabilities. It is not just 21% of GDP. So this is not correct. Next is, as per the Constitution of India, it is mandatory for a state to take the central government consent for raising any loan if the former owes any outstanding liabilities to the latter. We have seen it in the news also last year in 2021 there was some news regarding that the GST compensation was not given by the central government to the state government. So as some state government also have some loan taken from the central government, that is why for taking further loan from the market they need to take the permission from the central government. अगर किसी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने पहले से लोन लिया हुआ है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से तो उसको कंसेंट लेनी होगी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की फ्यूचर में कोई लोन लेने के लिए. So this is also the correct option. So the answer is option C. Question. Consider the following statements. The quantity of the imported edible oils is more than the domestic production of edible oils in the last 5 years. इंडिया का कंजम्पशन काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. एज वी नो हमारा प्रोडक्शन भी अच्छा है एडिबल ऑयल्स का, बट despite our good production of edible oils, we need to import huge amount of edible oils. So our imported edible oil is more than the one which we are producing in our country. It's correct. The government does not impose any custom duty on all the imported edible oils as special case. It is not the case. Government impose custom duty on the import of edible oils also. This is wrong option. So first is correct. Next. Which of the following links all the ATMs in India? What is Indian Banks Association? Indian Banks Association has been created a long back in 1946 with the aim of supporting the banks or the RBI we can call. Indian Banks Association has been created to assist the RBI and manage the functioning of the banks, which is also done by RBI but a supporting hand to RBI. So which of the following links all ATM? So Indian Banks Association do not links the ATM. It is mainly to manage the banks. National Securities Depository Limited. It is mainly oriented toward the securities. Next question is NPCI, which is formed by the Indian Banks Association and Reserve Bank of India with the aim of main functionality of it is with the digital UPI system, as we know that Bharat UPI and all, but it is also helping us to link all the ATMs in India. So NPCI is the one which links all the ATMs. Reserve Bank of India as the management of all the banks. Correct option is NPCI. Next question. Which of the following statements correctly describes the meaning of legal tender money? Legal tender money, it means the money which has been legalized to use in any country. If the money is legalized to use in any country, if the money is legalized to use in any country, it means it cannot be denied to use by anyone. So looking at the options, the money which is tendered in the courts of law to defray the fee of legal cases. Second is the money which a creditor is under compulsion to accept in settlement of his claims. One has to accept it because it is legalized by the government. Correct. The black money, the bank money in the form of checks, draft, bills of exchange. Let us say the example of checks. Checks is mainly just signed by a person or the customer of the bank. It is not a legalized form of money, so we cannot call it legalized. Next is metallic money in the form, in circulation of a currency. It is not the metallic money which is a legalized money. For example, if someone has made a say 10 rupee coin with his art only, then it cannot be a legalized money. It should have been legalized by the government to be used in the country. Now the next question is, if a commodity is provided free to the public by the government, तो उसके क्या impacts होंगे? So commodity is provided free to the public by the government. We need to discuss a new term, and that is opportunity cost. What does this term mean is, let us say हमारे पास दो cases हैं. First case, second case. First case is कि हमारे पास 15 minutes में दो options हैं. First option है कि we read a book, and second option is we go for a walk. So let us say कि हमने opt किया कि हम walk पर जा रहे हैं. तो what is the opportunity cost of going for this walk? This reading a book. We have opted to go for walk in that time we could have also read the book. So the opportunity cost of going to the walk is reading a book for that time. हमने क्योंकि वॉक पे जाना चुना, इस वजह से हम बुक रीड नहीं कर पाए उस 15 मिनट के लिए, तो ये अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट हुई उस काम को करने की. सिमिलर वे में लेट अस से गवर्नमेंट, यहाँ पर हमने गवर्नमेंट का जो ऑप्शन देखा है, गवर्नमेंट क्या कर सकती थी कि गवर्नमेंट के पास ऑप्शन था कि पब्लिक को 10 रुपीज का राइस दे सकती, दैट इज 10 रुपीज पर केजी राइस, 10 रुपीज का राइस दे सकती थी, या फिर ₹10 की रोड बना सकती थी. लेट अस से दिस इज द केस. सो 10 रुपीज की रोड बना सकती थी या फिर 10 रुपीज का राइस दे सकती थी लोगों को. तो गवर्नमेंट ने चुना कि 10 रुपीज का राइस पब्लिक को देना है. सो अगर 10 रुपीज का राइस पब्लिक को देना है तो इसकी अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट क्या हुई कि जो रोड बननी थी वो नहीं बन पाई. ये अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट. अगर दो ऑप्शंस में से किसी एक ऑप्शन को चुना, वो ऑप्शन हमने कंप्लीट कर लिया, बट सेकंड ऑप्शन जो नहीं हो पाता है, दैट इज द अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ नॉट डूइंग द सेकंड वन. सो अगर हम बोलते हैं कि कॉमोडिटी इज प्रोवाइडेड फ्री टू द पब्लिक, अगर कॉमोडिटी फ्री पब्लिक को प्रोवाइड की गई है तो उसकी अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट जीरो तो नहीं हो सकती ना. गवर्नमेंट के पास अगर 10 रुपीज थे और 10 रुपीज पब्लिक को दे दिए तो उन 10 रुपीज की अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट जीरो तो नहीं हो सकती. गवर्नमेंट उनको किसी और चीज में इन्वेस्ट ऑब्वियसली कर ही सकती थी. दैट इज वाई इट्स अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट इज नॉट जीरो. अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट इज इग्नोर्ड. इट कैन नॉट बी इग्नोर्ड. As it is not zero, that is why it cannot be ignored. Next option is opportunity cost is transferred from the consumers of the product to the tax paying public. ये ऑप्शन गवर्नमेंट ऑप्ट कर सकते हैं कि जो भी अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट थी उस उतनी अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट का टैक्स दे सकती है. सो वो जो 10 रुपीज गवर्नमेंट ने इन्वेस्ट किए हैं राइस प्रोवाइड करने में, उतना ही रिच पॉपुलेशन से गवर्नमेंट एज अ टैक्स ले सकती है. अगर गवर्नमेंट एज अ टैक्स ले लेगी तो जो अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट गवर्नमेंट को फेस करनी पड़ रही थी कि रोड्स ना बन पाए, सेकंड ऑप्शन था कि अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट थी कि रोड ना बन पाएगी अभी, तो उसके लिए गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया कि टैक्स पेइंग पब्लिक से टैक्स ले लिया उतना, एंड नाउ दोनों काम गवर्नमेंट कंप्लीट कर सकते हैं. तो गवर्नमेंट अपने एंड से अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट को कंपनसेट करा रही है बाय द टैक्स पेइंग पब्लिक. ये ऑप्शन करेक्ट है. Next is the opportunity cost is transferred from the consumer of the product to the government. In case उसका opportunity cost को government लेगी तो government would be facing deficit. So उसका impact पड़ेगा इंडिया की इकोनॉमी पर और लॉन्ग टर्म्स में उसके काफ़ी इम्पैक्ट्स देखने को मिल सकते हैं. तो इसलिए गवर्नमेंट ऑप्ट करेगी कि जो भी उस टाइम पर अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट है उसको ट्रांसफर कर दिया जाए टू अदर पीपल, टू द टैक्स पेइंग पीपल. Question is increase in the absolute and per capita real GNP do not connote a higher level of economic development if. So हम कंसिडर कर रहे हैं कि रियल जीएनपी ज़्यादा होना चाहिए, एब्सोल्यूट और पर कैपिटा रियल जीएनपी. अगर इन केस हमने पॉजिटिव लेना है तो सिर्फ अभी हम जीएनपी डिस्कस करते हैं. जीएनपी क्या होता है? ग्रॉस नेशनल प्रोडक्ट. इसका मतलब जो भी हमारा जीडीपी था उसमें से हम जो हमारे एक्सपोर्ट्स हैं, यहाँ एक्सपोर्ट का मीनिंग है कि जो भी फॉरेनर्स इंडिया के अंदर वर्क कर रहे हैं उनका कंट्रीब्यूशन माइनस करते हुए और ऐड करते हुए जो भी इंडियंस का कंट्रीब्यूशन है इन द फॉरेन, इंडियंस का कंट्रीब्यूशन ऐड कर लेना, तभी हमें ग्रॉस नेशनल प्रोडक्ट मिलता है. यानी व्हाट इज प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय ओनली द नेशनल्स ऑफ इंडिया, उसको ग्रॉस नेशनल प्रोडक्ट बोलते हैं. तो जो भी हम इंडियंस ने प्रोड्यूस किया है थ्रू आउट द वर्ल्ड, इसमें वो काउंट हो जाता है. और इस जीएनपी को भी अगर हम बोलना चाहते हैं कि पर कैपिटा रियल जीएनपी भी ज्यादा होना चाहिए. अगर हम चाहते हैं कि पर कैपिटा रियल जीएनपी ज्यादा हो तो उसके लिए हम ऑप्शंस को देखते हैं. अभी फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जीएनपी की वैल्यू ज्यादा होनी चाहिए, ये अच्छा ऑप्शन है. जीएनपी की वैल्यू ज्यादा कैसे होगी? अभी ऑप्शंस. इंडस्ट्रियल आउटपुट फेल्स टू कीप पेस विद एग्रीकल्चर आउटपुट. ये हो सकता है, मतलब एग्रीकल्चर आउटपुट बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया, उतने पेस से इंडस्ट्रियल आउटपुट नहीं बढ़ पाया, बट दोनों बढ़ रहे हैं, गोइंग इन राइट डायरेक्शन. ये पॉइंट ठीक है, ये पॉइंट चलेगा, इस पॉइंट से रियल जीएनपी बढ़ेगा. नेक्स्ट इज एग्रीकल्चर आउटपुट फेल्स टू कीप पेस विद द इंडस्ट्रियल आउटपुट. तो एग्रीकल्चर भी बढ़ रहा है उतनी पेस से नहीं जितने से इंडस्ट्रियल बढ़ रहा है. फाइन, स्टिल वी कैन मैनेज दिस. रियल जीएनपी फिर भी बढ़ सकता है. नेक्स्ट इज पॉवर्टी एंड अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट इंक्रीज। अगर हम बोले कि पॉवर्टी इंक्रीज हो रही है या फिर अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट इंक्रीज हो रहा है, और हमने बोला है कि रियल जीएनपी हम इंक्रीज कर रहे हैं एंड वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट पर कैपिटा इंक्रीज हो जाएगा, इसका मतलब इनइक्वालिटी आ जाएगी। सम पोर्शन इज फेसिंग अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड जो बाकी पॉपुलेशन है उसमें बहुत ह्यूज इंक्रीज होगा। फिर अगर रियल जीएनपी बढ़ ही रहा है, वो एक कंडीशन है कि रियल जीएनपी इज इंक्रीजिंग फॉर श्योर, और दूसरी एंड पे अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट इंक्रीज हो रहा है, इसका मतलब one some part of the population is facing lot of problems due to unemployment and other half is in very good side due to increase in real GNP. So this could not be a good factor. It would create more inequality. So this is not a good option for higher level of economic development. Next is imports grow faster than exports. It cannot decide the things properly because let us say that the imports which we are taking is quantity wise they are more, but overall economy wise they are not more. Let us say imports of 100 rupees and export of 1000 rupees, but quantity wise these are of more and these are of less. It cannot be decided by the quantity. It need to be taken into consider the account amount which we are using. So the option which is ruled out is poverty and unemployment increase, because it will tend to show some negative effects in the economy, would create more inequality. Next question is, consider the following statements. Human capital formation as a concept is better explained in terms of a process which enables. So first of all, we are going to discuss human capital. Human capital formation. Human capital formation means there is some investment which is being done in the form of education, in the form of, let us say, clothing, to learn something, to play, to do yoga, to invest something in people so that they can produce some good results. It is not in terms of just monetary earning, it is in terms of some achievement, some earning in the form of some achievement. Human beings have some values in them, so that some value by which they can do something. There is some talent which is being invested into them. So the first option is individuals of a country to accumulate more capital. Increasing the knowledge, skill levels and capacities of the people of the country. Yeah. Accumulate the tangible wealth. It is not about tangible wealth. It cannot be about tangible wealth. Accumulation of intangible wealth. Yeah, it is of course intangible wealth. It is intangible wealth because we are investing something in the people, which is not something we can touch. It is not about the monetary value, it's about the value which has been invested in the people, and that is to be utilized in the future. The correct option is 2 and 4, wherein knowledge, skill levels and capacities of the people are increased. And now the next question. Despite being a high saving economy, capital formation may not result in significant increase in output. So, looking at the options, weak administrative machinery. This may have some impact on the production output. Let us say permissions are not given, so it will take time to work in some industry. Illiteracy may have some impact. Next is high population density. It can have impact because it might lead to not working good on the human capital, so their human capital efficiency may decrease. May not. Good. It cannot be assured. Next is capital output ratio. We need to look at this one. Capital output ratio. Capital output ratio means that what is the capital needed to produce a particular output. Let us say for the production of a biscuit, one biscuit, we need to take need investment of rupees 1. So the output is one biscuit. Next case is for the production of two biscuits, output is two biscuit. Yeah, production of two biscuit, 2 rupees wheat is needed. So capital output ratio is 1, capital output ratio is 1. Let us say in another case, rupees 4 investment is needed for the production of two biscuits. It means the ratio is 2. It is not good because the more capital is needed for the production of biscuits. So here it is for the production of one biscuit, we need 2 rupees of wheat. Capital is more needed. So if more capital is needed, it means the economy need more resources to work on that particular thing. Looking at the question again, despite being a high saving economy, capital formation may not result in significant increase in output. So अगर इकोनॉमी 100 रुपीज रेगुलरली सेव कर रही है, गुड सेविंग इकोनॉमी है, स्टिल अगर कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन में कैपिटल की नीड बढ़ती जा रही है, कैपिटल की नीड इंक्रीज हो रही है, तो फिर आउटपुट मे नॉट इंक्रीज, आउटपुट सिग्निफिकेंट इंक्रीज नहीं शो करेगा. आउटपुट में इंक्रीज हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है, बिकॉज एफिशिएंसी कम हो रही है, कैपिटल आउटपुट रेशियो ज्यादा होता जा रहा है. अब ज्यादा कैपिटल चाहिए उसी आउटपुट को प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए. दिस इज द मोस्ट डेंजरस वन हियर. तो इसका इम्पैक्ट सबसे ज्यादा होता है. हर फैक्टर का इम्पैक्ट होगा, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का इम्पैक्ट होता है, लिटरेसी का भी होगा, हाई पॉपुलेशन डेंसिटी का भी होगा, बट सबसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट एंड द मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट ऑप्शन हियर इज हाई कैपिटल आउटपुट रेशियो. Question is, consider the following statements. The Reserve Bank of India manages and services Government of India's securities but not the state government के securities. Actually, RBI is the bank for everyone, for the state government and for the central government, both of them. This option is not correct. Next is, treasury bills are issued by the Government of India and there are no treasury bills to be issued by the state government. This is correct. Treasury bills are, and these are mainly issued by the central government. These are for the central government only. Second option is correct. Next is, treasury bills offered are issued at a discount from the par value. Treasury bills are issued in this way. Let us say it is issued for today at 96 rupees. For let us say 14 days, it will be compensated to 100 rupees. At that time, the 100 rupees will be paid off. So option 2 and 3 are correct. And the next question is, consider the following statements. Capital adequacy ratio is the amount that banks have to maintain in the form of their own funds to offset any loss that bank incur if the account holders fail to repay dues. So it has been decided in the Basel III norms to keep total of 12.4% as capital adequacy ratio, wherein it has to be checked before giving loans to any company or individual that there is how much risk that they can pay it back. Because अगर बैंक किसी को लोन दे रहे हैं तो it has been already deposited by someone and वो बैंक की लाइबिलिटी है, बैंक को वापस देना ही पड़ेगा. तो बैंक अपनी लाइबिलिटी को अश्योर करें कि दे कैन गिव इट बैक टू द वन हु हैव डिपॉजिटेड. इसलिए बैंक को एक कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी रेशियो अपने पास रखना पड़ता है, कीपिंग इन माइंड कि जिसको बैंक ने लोन दिया है वहां पर रिस्क कितना है, वहां उनके एसेट, जिस कंपनी को लोन दिया उनके रिस्क वेटेड एसेट को चेक करने के बाद बैंक को डिसाइड करना होता है कि यहाँ पर कितना रिस्क है इस कंपनी को लोन देने में. इसी वजह से बैंक अपने पास कुछ अमाउंट रखते हैं ताकि वो रिटर्न कर पाए उन डिपॉजिटर्स का जिस मनी को वो उस कंपनी को एज अ लोन दे रहे हैं. देयर इज ऑन वन साइड वी हैव डिपॉजिटर्स, ऑन अदर साइड जिनको बैंक लोन देते हैं. तो जिनके लिए बैंक लायबल है उनकी लाइबिलिटी को बैंक की लाइबिलिटी को पूरा करने के लिए बैंक के पास एक कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी रेशियो रखना होता है, एंड दैट इज being finalized in the Basel III norms. This is correct option. Next is care is decided by each individual bank. It is not decided by each bank. It has been already decided under Basel III norms capital adequacy ratio. Next question is with reference to the digital payments, consider the following statements. The first one is BHIM app allows the user to transfer money to anyone with a UPI enabled bank account. It is correct. Next is while a chip pin debit card has 4 factors of authentication, BHIM app has 2 factors of authentication. BHIM app is more recent than this chip pin debit card. And if we're going to look at only this factor, nowadays our economy or the world is working toward more secure things. So if we have developed something now, it should be more secure. How can chip pin debit card has 4 factor of authentication, but this BHIM app has 2 factors of authentication? Obviously, BHIM app should have more factor of authentication. That's why only people will switch towards this. This is not correct. First is correct only. Next question is with reference to the governance of public sector banking in India, consider the following statements. Capital infusion into public sector banks by the government of India has steadily increased in the last years. It have not shown any steady increase or decrease. Uh, It is increasing sometime and decreasing sometime. So we cannot found only the steadily increased in the last decade in the past 10 years. This is not correct. Next is to put the public sector banks in order, the merger of the associate banks with the parent state banks has been affected. Actually, nowadays it has been seen that our government has started to merge the bank so that their efficiency can be increased. Because let's say there is bank 1, bank 2, and bank 3. They have 100. If they are going to give this amount of loan to any company, and company may need large amount of loan. So this company would not go to this bank as this do not have let us say 300. But if the banks would get combined and provide the 300 as a loan to this company, it would definitely approach this bank. That is why government is trying to merge the bank to increase the efficiency of the bank so that they can give loan in a good way and can stand as an international bank also. So to put the public sector banks in order, the merger of the associate banks with the parent state bank has been affected. Yeah. I hope you understand all the questions well. Thank you for watching.